Okay, good morning everyone. Thank you very much for coming. My name's James Candy. I'm the Business Development Director at Red. A little bit of background. Red's one of the leading e-commerce agencies in the UK. Really today is all about the need for personalisation through e-commerce websites, and really for that to help drive conversion, but also a very key part is engagement and re-engagement of your customers. Trying to be a one-shop for all with your promotions, your contents and everything else is really of yesteryear, and it's really about tailoring everything to your customers. So today I'm going to go through, get the right click to go. I'm just going to go through what personalisation merchandising means. So what is it all about? How do we actually go about delivering it? So as a merchant, what are all the key steps I need to do in order to be able to tailor my website to my customers and therefore gain the kind of revenues and increases that we want? But also the key thing is the why. What is it actually going to do for you? Why should you bother going through all that extra effort of doing the personalisation? So really, what is the basic premise of personalisation? And this is really, really key for people to understand. The more relevant you make your website, its content, the longer each of the visitors will stay. So that gives you more opportunity to sell to them, more opportunity to get your content, your products, to get engagement, but also the more they'll do. So that's the conversions we're looking for, and ultimately re-engagement. And so this way, you as a merchant can help influence your customers. Rather than being reliant on them coming to you and liking what you do, you're trying to be an influencer. And this really is the holy grail of online selling. If you succeed in this, really what is it going to do? And ultimately it's the bottom line, but there are two key parts to it. It's not just conversion, which is your sales. It's also about delivering what we call engagement. So users come to your site and they like what they see, it's tailored for them, they're more likely to buy into you. But the key part is, and what all of us want to do, is we want that re-engagement. We want the customer to be a sticky customer of ours, because ultimately that's where you make your money. You spend a lot of money on marketing, but if they keep coming back and buying off you, engaging with your brand, you as a business, and obviously ordering, then ultimately your sales will grow, not just on that visit, but in subsequent visits. So let's look at the different levels of personalised merchandising. So the very bottom level, which is what traditionally people have been doing, is being able to offer things like currency, to be able to offer things like languages tailored to particular users, but also bring in differential pricing depending on the group, it may be business to business, and also regionalised content, so tailored around different areas. And that's the kind of real base level, and doing a little bit of that will earn you some money. If we add the next layer up, this is where we're getting a little bit more tailored, a little bit more aggressive in our approach. So we then get into layered promotions. You guys would have seen a lot of these from supermarkets and websites. And what we're talking about is things like buy X, get Y free, 10% off. If you spend this, I'll give you free shipping. And these are the teasers, the bits that we're trying to motivate the users to engage, to buy. You've also got your cross-sell and upsell. So this is looking at saying, well, what products do I suggest to this customer and how do I present it to them? So we're trying to then get them to buy more, but also if they're not necessarily buying that product, could I tease them with this one over here? We've then got your adverts. So these are your big stickies that you stick on your website to say, you know, I've got free shipping, I've got percentage off. And then also a lot of you will be engaging with things like email marketing, so trying to get people back to the website. But this also, email marketing, does come into another form in terms of order confirmation and dispatch, which I'll touch on for re-engagement. And then really the ultimate layer, and this is the key bit that's really, really going to drive sales on it. So what we're now saying is, amongst all the things that we can do, how do I actually personalise this? So we can do it at individual level. So you as a customer come to the website, you will see totally different content and promotions to another customer. Now, if you've got your understanding of that customer right, they're more likely to buy into it. If you happen to deal with a lot of consumers, it may be a bit difficult as a merchant to work at individual level, so you can do it at grouping. And then you've also got what we call session-based. Now, session-based is actually the user journey, either triggered by where they've come from. It could be a pay-per-click, it could be a URL from an affiliate, it could be email marketing links, or it could be what they're doing on that website. We can then adjust content to them to try and maximise the opportunity of bringing them through. We've obviously got location. If we know where they're coming from, we can identify some information. And then behaviour. And this is a key part. What are they doing on the website? What are they searching for? What are they looking for? I, as a merchant, should be gearing up my marketing, my salesperson, essentially the website, to better able to engage with those people. And this can be done either on a single site, or you may have multiple sites, whether they happen to be branded or internationalized. So how do we actually go about doing personalization on the website? Well, the very first thing is we've got to understand who your customer is. If you don't understand your customer, you're not going to be able to start the basics of being able to get the right products, promotion, content. They're going to get those hooks to bring them through. So some fairly key basic things that we can gain from a user is we know potentially their names. We obviously know things like sex, we know age, but we can also know location. And this is just basic information that comes through registration. So if you start looking at that, you can also get through it. Google Analytics will tell you a lot of information of source. So potentially from where they come from. Do they come from a Facebook advertisement? Do they come from a particular affiliate? We'll tell you a little bit more for you to start to recommend. You've obviously got their interests. The more we know about them, the better I'm able to give you information. And some sites are actually very, very clever at getting their particular users to self-profile. Tell me more about you, and I'll be better able to help you. And you incentivize them. And by getting into their interests, their sports, their likes, depending on what your site is, you can then get more information through that way. And then the other key one is what on earth are they buying, what are they searching for, what are they looking at? Because that information is hot property to be able to adjust how your site reacts to those individuals. So really, the better you know your customer, the better able to meet their particular needs, their wants and their aspirations. And honestly, by doing this, the customers will love you for it, as well as you'll love the actual response you get. So we know we've done some profiling. Oops. We know who the customers are and everything else. So what do we do to define the triggers? How do I get the right information into to the customer? What is it that's going to trigger it? So there's different things. We can determine customer according to where they're coming from, a particular session they're particularly running on. So it could be from an email marketing link, for example. It could be a search term that actually says, right, well, they've now given me a bit of information by typing in search, so I can then tailor. We've got things like if the user's logged in or is cookied, we instantly know who they are, and we can then get the site to gear up and change information. Also, if we know their preferences, group membership, things like that is another area. And then another key one is email and time lapse. So things like your order confirmation, your dispatch, your follow-up email should absolutely have marketing messages in it. It shouldn't just say, "Dear James, thank you for ordering product X. Our returns policy is below." It should say, James, we're delighted with your order. Here's £5 off your next one, or whatever the particular messaging is. Incredibly powerful. But it's also doing things like time lapse. I've not seen this customer for 3 months. Why aren't we going after them with some sort of promotion teaser to bring them through? And if we've done that profiling, we would have got the right information, the right teaser for the right product or brand to bring them through. Rather than it's another one of those, hey, we're having a sales email, you're more likely to engage on it. We've also got the usual triggers around abandoned baskets, but also there's things like tell a friend. If you can get your customers to refer others, well, that could be another trigger for getting right content, right information. James really likes this, and he thinks you should be part of it. It's great on Facebook, but it's also a great way for customers to earn the things. But these are all different triggers for which you can then enable content to then appear to target the user. So we know what the triggers are. We've done the profiling. Now what we've got to do is actually target and deliver the customer. So what we're looking at is then adverts and promotions. And I'll come on a little bit more about all the different sorts of ones. But obviously there's your message boards doing the big shout. There's recommendations. If I've bought a particular camera and I come back to a particular website, well then here's all the accessories that goes with my camera. James, you really ought to be looking at these. How about one of these? Well, I'm more likely to be interested because there's my camera and there's all these other bits that are going to make me a better photographer. If I come along and see accessories related to some other camera, then you've already missed that opportunity to sell to me, and I may go without even buying, or just restrict myself for whatever I was looking for in that purchase. We then got things like content and landing pages. If you tailor a landing page and the content around that user or that user group, they're more likely to feel at home, they're more likely to see things that they're interested in, and more likely to engage. And you avoid that horrible thing that Google's monitoring, which is called bounce, whereas user lands and goes, ooh, don't like this, and off again. And we want to be able to draw them through the website as much as possible. And it's not always just about products, it's sometimes about doing that sort of rich content portal side. So users are coming back to gain information, and you as a merchant are then pushing forward products to try and maximise the sale on every visit. And then again, you've got obviously the emails for targeting on that side. So what sort of adverts can we do? So you've got the pop-ups, recognise this particular individual. Here's me, want to build some very big muscles, etc. Then a particular advert can come up on my arrival to the site. Now these can be light boxes, so people have got block-up poppers. However, if my wife, for example, turns up and she gets a totally different advert according to her aspirations or everything else. So this is then tailored all on the same site. Another way of doing this is, and Maximus are actually very, very good at not only personalisation, but they do it a lot on profiling the user offline, but they get the users to really tell them what they want to do. So on this particular one, here's me again, and I really want to be a martial artist. That's my aspiration, and I want to lose fat, and I want to get bigger muscles, etc. So according to various profiling, they will actually tailor what products I have to have, what training, and what meal plans, etc. They'll even deliver videos. So that is absolutely geared around me. And when we get to the results, I'll show you the power of this. However, when Ben, my colleague Ben, turns up, well, he's got totally different aspirations and needs from me. And so the website tailors absolutely around his requirements, his product set, and again, the training plan and meals all change. And this becomes hugely powerful for user. I don't have to go through that site, searching, trying to understand, work it out. Someone's there to help me and guide me through it. If we have a look at a slightly different one, so this is Claire, and when she comes along to the website and she's in gifts for her, she'll see a particular advert along the top, but she'll also have icons along the products to let her know which ones, according to profiling, she might be interested in, and we're trying to tease her into buying. However, when Amy comes to the site, she sees something totally different. And Amy likes clearances, so she's going to come through and see those. And we've also got particular products around her profiling. And we know statistically that this will absolutely increase your conversion ratio. It will absolutely get the engagement. And you think about it yourself as a shopper. When you go into a shop and you see a 2-for-1 on something you don't particularly like or interested in, you go straight past it. But if it is something, the brand you like or a product or anything else, you're more likely to go, oh, well, we'll have a look at that. That's part one, and then hopefully you'll go, right, I'm going to buy it, and that's part two. And as a merchant, if you can do it, and can't do it at individual level, but can just do it at group level, you will find the absolute increase in conversions. So other areas that you can kind of trigger on is, we could say we don't want to end up with a website looking like it's got sale written all over it. We can do a lot more subtle type of things, again, at individual level. Well, we know from Claire's past buying experiences that she likes freebies. So we can then say, well, look, if you actually buy 3 of these, we'll give you 1 free. And so Claire will then be messaged just purely on an add to basket, whereas opposed to Amy, she likes percentages off. And therefore you can tailor a particular promotion teaser on that particular site without actually upsetting anyone else. So if you did have full rate customers who pay full rate and you don't want to discount them for, they could come through the site and never see anything. But you've got these other set of customers that you can make money on, but they're hugely discount orientated, and you can target them. It really is down to what level and how you want to engage. We also talk about personalisation of products. So when the bloke comes along and he sees particular products just on a straight male-female one, he's getting cross-sales which are related to male around particular Vodafone or Mercedes merchandising. However, when the lady comes along, the products are absolutely geared to her. How many times do you go to a website that is just geared with, I got this product and this is my cross-sells. I don't care whether you're male, female, young or old, or what you're interested in. And that means that you're going to have a huge percentage of those people who are looking at it are just not going to be interested. And that is a lost opportunity that you guys have spent time marketing on, have spent money on, you've got them to your site, and then you failed at the last mile. And this is where personalisation really comes in. In terms of other kind of areas, I've just done a highlight one, but you can do around sort of content, currency, languages, but really it's a lot further than that. It's also about driving particular content. So if you have niche groups which work and operate off your website, you can tailor your forums, you can tailor advice, guidance when they land and in certain sections of the site and make it a lot more relevant. And the results will absolutely show a bit further on what this means to particular merchants. Now, I touched on this earlier, and one of the things that we're really keen for people to pick up on is really looking at personalisation in email. If I've bought a particular product, I've gone all the way through, dash through checkout, really excited, my order confirmation, should it carry the accessories for that product? Because I didn't buy them. Should there be a teaser saying, hey, look, we're so delighted you bought that camera, here's £10 off your accessories. By the way, we've got this particular sale, because I guarantee people are reading these confirmations, and yet probably the majority of sites are still sending out text-based you know, thank you for your order, and here's customer service number if you have a problem. And it is a huge missed opportunity for something called re-engagement. You've got them, and if they like you, they like your website, they like the service, it got delivered. If we can bring them back and get them back 2 or 3 times, they're sticky. These are the ones that will really make you money. So Amy gets a slightly different one. Again, Amy likes to make lots of money, so she can refer all her friends. So you can use different messaging as an example through the emails. So really, what is the results? What is it for your merchant? There's probably a reasonable amount of work there. You've got to create your banners and everything else. So why do this? So what we did is we just did a test through one of our clients, Grand Prix Legends, and we had a non-personalised day, just fairly standard, you know, 20% off advert. We had and standard products, and then we had a personalised day to just see what kind of results would come through. So they had 50.33% increase in conversion. They had an 88% increase in the number of transactions, but they also increased the number of products ordered. So direct correlation was that not only do they obviously up their conversions, but they were selling more per order as well as getting more orders. And that has a huge impact in terms of their turnover. These guys turn over millions online. And that's just in one day, and that's a big, big increase. Now, you work that every day, you'll start to see really quite dramatic numbers coming through. On a more generic level, just to give you a kind of higher end, Maxi Nutrition, who are part of GlaxoSmithKline, they do all the sports supplements, people like English Rugby, didn't work for them, but and some of the other sort of people. Now, they sell direct through their own website. They also sell through most of the major retailers, Holland Barrett, Tesco, Sainsbury's. Now, the key thing is that their online sales, year on year, on their website is doing that. Yet you can go into Holland Barrett, Tesco's and Sainsbury's and get it cheaper. So key point here is actually saying you don't have to always slash price on the internet. You don't always have to be the cheapest and everything else. You just got to be clever. And if you make it useful to your users, they'll generally come and say, oh, look, you know, I had a good time here. I got what I wanted. It was very easy for me. Oh, I'll just add it to my basket and buy. Rather than sit there and run around trying to find things. And this has a huge, huge impact on them. And really, it was the personalisation that we looked at earlier, where they're doing the meal plans, what products I should be doing, advice and guidance, that it has that direct correlation. And honestly, it's about 30 to 40% less than Tesco's. So we're not talking about 5% here, we are talking big numbers. So that's the merchant side. What about your customers? Well, ultimately, at the end of the day, as a merchant, you should really care for your customers, you want to understand them, and ultimately you want them to buy into your brand, your ethos, and everything else. Now, the customers absolutely love personalisation, because I come to a website, I don't have to go running around looking for the particular products, trying to find out, oh, where's the offers and things like that. I land and it's presented for me. And this has a real impact. If you think about going into a shop and it's a big shop and I need, you know, a new jacket and I need a bit of advice or whatever, oh, it all looks a bit scary, I'm off. Well, what personalisation does is effectively give everyone their own personal shopper. So they go through and can help guide them into what they should be buying, what information and everything else. And ultimately the customer will come and go, oh, that was so easy, I found what I wanted, I'm really pleased with what I bought. And what happens? They come back again and again. So you're keeping them away from your competitors, but you're also driving increased sales. So just as a kind of headline conclusion side of things, it really is, the more relevant you make it to your customers, and can't stress it enough, they really will stay longer because they'll like what they see, they feel like they're at home, feel like this is their place, and also the more they'll do on the website. And this isn't just what they'll do in terms of buying, chances are they'll start recommending you. So you get that free, lovely viral marketing going on. Oh, you should see so-and-so's site. Oh, it's really good for this. And ultimately, it's going to drive the key things for you guys, which is your bottom line. And obviously, as with all marketing, you guys will know this, you should always review and optimise. So if you've got adverts, they are working, you are getting orders, to me it just says you're working. You should go back and say, how do I optimise? How do I increase this to make sure I'm still getting the best things? So never set it up, get it personalised, and then sit back on your laurels and go, great, because honestly, all of you out there will then be saying, right, well, how do I improve? How do I steal next door's competitors? And that really is the key bit. But the two parts of this really will be good for you and ultimately good for your customers, which is always good for business. So just wanted to give you a feel for it. There is, as you can probably imagine, a lot more behind personalisation, how you drive it, how systems work. But I don't know if there's any initial questions at this stage. Okay, thank you.